In the Ninth Gate, Dean Corso was hired by a wealthy benefactor to do some investigation work. It required travel, danger, and romance, but he found himself in the middle of an occult conspiracy. For an unbeliever, he experienced much to change his heart, mind, and soul. But what if I were to tell you that there was another investigator, also hired by the wealthy, who also shared the many same experiences of Dean Corso, but 12 years earlier? That would be Harry Angel in Angel Heart, released in 1987. While Dean Corso was the book detective, Harry Angel was the private investigator. Both men are put on a path of both self-enlightenment and damnation because they knew who they were. While they share the same beats you'd expect in a mystery, the coincidences are many. Today, we compare Protagonists from Angel Heart and The Ninth Gate. Angel Heart, released in 1987, was written and directed by Alan Parker. Harry Angel was played by Mickey Rourke. The Ninth Gate, released in 1999, was written and directed by Roman Polanski. Dean Corso was played by Johnny Depp. The investigation. Both Angel Heart and The Ninth Gate hit the same beats in a story with a mystery. The protagonists are seen briefly at work. They're invited by a client. There's an exposition about the job they're hired for. They first conduct interviews not too far from home. There's an unexpected murder. A meeting with the client again, the hero wants out, but greed keeps him in. They travel far. There's more interviews, more death, until they stumble upon a ceremony, and the occult becomes more than a part of their investigation. A final confrontation, an offer to demonstrate the power of the supernatural, a surprise reveal out of nowhere, before ending in the other world. The Benefactor antagonist. Harry Angel is handpicked by suave businessman and lecturer Louis Cyphre. He throws money at him to keep him searching for Johnny Favorite, no matter how dangerous or how many lives are lost. But the irony becomes that Louis Cyphre, Angel's benefactor, is also the antagonist, who never really left Angel's side. Dean Corso is handpicked by publishing mogul Boris Balkan. Although their relationship goes back and is strictly business, Balkan also throws money at Corso to overlook legalities, dangers, and deaths, including his friend Bernie. Balkan, who seems to be only a phone call away, was always in Corso's shadows and committed many sins. Corso stands up to Balkan in the end. Even then, Balkan offers a big check as a reward, but Corso wanted more. Living in New York. Harry Angel will tell you he's from Brooklyn. He has a small office, will visit an Italian cafe, and will take a trip to Harlem or Coney Island if the job calls for it. But he's not afraid to go elsewhere and will take the train. Dean Corso also lives and works in the Big Apple. His office is a small apartment with poor security, and will sometimes use his friend's bookstore for storage. He's a world traveler, speaks many languages. Like Angel, one of his favorite modes of transportation is the train with a sleeper car. Unbelievers. Angel's idea of being an atheist is an easy one, just being someone from Brooklyn. He takes a job solely for money, unaware he will be descending into a darker spirit world. In Angel's investigation, he will stumble upon an occult ceremony and slowly, surely, accept there are other practices that reaches beyond the reasoning of the human mind. Corso only believes in his percentage. The supernatural is of no interest to him. For Corso, his job is solely about the money, authenticating the 3 copies of the 9 gates of the Kingdom of Shadows. He remains agnostic until the bodies begin to pile up, and he crashes a coven ceremony, celebrating the Dark Lord. Among silk-robed participants and their shriveling, aging bodies, he embraces the mysteries of the 9 gates and welcomes what lies before him. Will he achieve what so many have sought after? Romance with a Witch. Angel had an eye for Margaret Krusemark, once known as the Witch of Wellesley, but that romance belonged in the past with another man's memories. It didn't matter Margaret died of a broken heart, because there was Epiphany, the Obeah priestess who dances with chickens. Angel was lured into a very unfortunate daymare experience that may have broken more than a mirror, but Epiphany was killed too, with the guidance of Louis Cyphre. Dean Corso was seduced by Lyanna Telfer, described by Baroness Kessler as that creature. But Lyanna was not the loving type. She was manipulative and quite wrathful. At her friend's chateau, Lyanna had led her coven until Boris Balkan arrived and strangled the life out of the ceremony. There would be no more romance with Lyanna. The witch is dead. Film noir and close. Angel Heart was a noir thriller, as envisioned by Alan Parker. You see it in the cinematography and its use of shadows. But you also see it in the clothes. Angel's clothes gets worn and torn up through his exploits in New Orleans. They represent his struggles, perhaps his soul, before he is broken. While The Ninth Gate is not described as noir, Polanski paid homage, or ridiculed if you believe the internet, and who doesn't. You see it when Corso takes the taxi to the airport, and any time he's speaking to Balkan from a phone booth. But you'll see it in his clothes, when, like Angel, his clothes are drenched, and he ends up barefoot and finds refuge in a pub. Both Angel and Corso needed someone to help with their laundry. Before we get to the last coincidence between the two characters, Harry Angel and Dean Corso, like, share, or subscribe if you enjoyed this content and want to see more like this one. Going to Hell. Both men have a character arc. Harry Angel's arc is more tragic, while Dean Corso's was more comfortable. Both rediscover who they were, becoming someone different, one more literal than the other. For Harry Angel, his dreams, piece by piece, reveal his identity, the one of Johnny Favorite. The clues of the man who he wasn't began early, from looking uncomfortable with certain questions to unconsciously whistling tunes or tapping piano keys. The mirror betrayed him much sooner in the film than perhaps first noticed. When Angel realizes the truth, we see the soul of Johnny Favorite descend by elevator car into the depths of hell. We see it from the point of view of the underworld as the car makes its final stop. It's not ambiguous where Favorite ended up. Dean Corso's arc comes towards the end, where he gives up on vanity, gluttony, and greed. But most of all, he frees himself from the intellectual slothiness for wisdom when he returns to the Devil's Tower. Then illuminated with the brilliance of the supernatural, our point of view is earthly and outside the gate, not within. Corso disappears into the light. His personal journey has only begun. Let me know in the comments below, what other similarities do you see between the two? This is Mr. G of Synergy saying, it's good to know who you are. It's better to know where you're going. Check out other videos on the channel. Thanks for watching.